Hello everyone, back with another haul video. So I got some titles from HMV, not too many. I only went, I think I posted the video, was it on last Monday or something, where I got quite a few. Got 5 I think that I swapped with Ollie from Ollie Loves Film. Gave some to him, he gave me some back. I'll show those. Then I've got a few titles from CEX, probably most from CEX out of these piles, and then a few from charity shops. So yeah, earlier met up with Ollie from Ollie Loves Film in my local town of Keynsham. We go on the train to Bath, which only takes like 8 minutes. We went in CEX in Bath, then into HMV in Bath, and then back to Keynsham where we looked in all the charity shops. So yeah, I'll get on with it. So the first one, a dry white season. So yeah, one that's been doing the rounds. I think Roy, Blue Roy movies, Roy Barrett was the first person to speak of this, but I think since he spoke about it, it did seem really interesting in its own merit when he sort of said what it was about. But yeah, I think Ollie, like I say, from Ollie Loves Films, Sammy G from Sammy G's World of Cinema, maybe Yash. I think a few people that have picked this up. So yeah, obviously people have chat about it in our Movie Loons WhatsApp group, and then if it sounds interesting, other people jump on it. I think I've got another one here that sort of doing the rounds that I picked up. So yeah, starring Donald Sutherland. I won't read all the back of it, but it's basically about the apartheid and racism. So not seen the film, but there is one called Invicta, I think, with Matt Damon about rugby, which is about the apartheid. So yeah, maybe that one took some inspiration from this. 1989, 107 minutes. It's a 15, contains scenes of torture and strong images of violence, which I kind of thought it was going to be a drama, but I guess yeah, if it's about racism and things, and it's bound to have some strong and challenging content, and rightly so. This one Stuart showed, so I do have Shudder. I don't do much streaming, but obviously I have Amazon Prime more to get my Amazon deliveries. Don't really watch a lot on Prime, but pay an extra £5 a month for Shudder. Obviously I do like to pick things up on physical when I can, as you can probably see by the collection and all the things I've bought. But yeah, there has been a few films on Shudder, mostly horror, that I really wanted to see that. I'm not saying they're exclusive and they stay on Shudder. Some have come out. Ones like Oddity and Caveat, really good films I watched on Shudder that I've now picked up on physical media. A few I've picked up on physical media before I've ever watched them on Shudder. But yeah, there was a few that have been on Shudder for about a year that haven't been released. Some of them I find can be a bit hit and miss, but some are really good. Like Oddity, I really enjoyed, and yeah, Caveat, probably the best one I've seen off Shudder. There's a few messed up ones. What's that one? Grafted, that was good, like a Korean kind of body horror film. But yeah, this one's Superhost. So yeah, was thinking of getting it, wasn't sure, and then Stuart picked it up the other day. Not only he made it sound interesting, but yeah, it was always sort of $17.99. A lot of the Shudder ones are about 18 on Blu-ray, which I thought was a bit expensive. So once Stuart spoke about it, I don't think he got it from HMV. Maybe he did. He ordered it online. So I thought I'd look in HMV. Hopefully it's reduced in there as well, which it was. So yeah, down to 10 was, well, $9.99. Was happy to pay that. Whereas yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to pay $17.99 really for any standard Blu-ray, even if I know it's a really good film, let alone one I don't really know anything about. But yeah, written and directed by Brandon Christensen. Strong gory violence, 84 minutes long. Sincerely psychotic. Yeah, I heard it's quite an extreme, messed up kind of one, so looking forward to that. These are, let me get them together, in the 2 for 15. So yeah, obviously everybody I'm sure knows my channel. If you don't, then John Carpenter's The Thing is my favourite film of all time. So I thought better sort of watch the original. Obviously a lot of people I've spoke to have said, even if they like this, they do say that the John Carpenter version is better, and it's known as one of the few remakes that have sort of surpassed the original. But yeah, I thought I'd not only go back and check out the original, but I've heard pretty good things about it. And then yeah, see what John Carpenter's changed in that. But also it is on these premium collection, which I am trying to collect. So yeah, it's nice to get 2 of these for 15. So $9.99 each. Obviously I always find one to pair it up with. There was a few I sort of wanted off this label, but it didn't have there, at least not in the HMV in Bath. But yeah, Howard Hawks, heard this is a classic sci-fi film, and like I say, be interesting to watch it, and then maybe I'll even more respect for the thing. And then, yeah, this one's been on my radar for a long time. I think this one Jodie spoke about, or maybe Ash first spoke about it. And I think Jodie showed it on her recommendations one. I read the book of this a long time ago, based on a Stephen King book, Dolores Claiborne. So this one Marcus from X-File 2708 recently picked up. I didn't actually know this was on the, obviously when Marcus showed it I did, but till then I didn't know it was on the premium collection. It's one I didn't really see around too much, but was it directed by... I mean, it seems to say on the back. It's got Kathy Bates, who great actress, especially in Misery. Jennifer Jason Leigh, seen her in quite a few things. Was she in Electra? I think it was called. Sometimes an accident can be an unhappy woman's best friend. 1995. I guess it is quite a long one. Can I find a running time? 131 minutes. So yeah, over 2 hours. Can't seem to see. Directed by Taylor Hackford. Can't say I've heard of him, but yeah, I mean, I do know the original story by Stephen King, so kind of know what to expect. I mean, maybe they have changed it, so there could be like a surprise, but yeah, I wouldn't really say a spoiler as such, but yeah, I kind of know what happens in the story, a bit like Hearts in Atlantis, certain ones I'd sort of read before. I mean, I still haven't seen Hearts in Atlantis. I think that's the one with Anthony Hopkins, maybe that's the one Ash and Jodie were talking. I don't know, I'm sure they'll correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but yeah, obviously 2 for 15, so works out $7.50 for those, which I was happy with. Obviously, I showed recently, Ash had sent me pretty much all of the Mission Impossible films other than Dead Reckoning. Obviously, the new one is now out, so yeah, I've been wanting to pick this one up, so I've got them all ready to watch them. £10 wasn't too bad a price, but yeah, I think we've seen it on 4K in the section, and I think it was about 8 or 10. Ollie said, it's there if you want to pick it up. So I forget which are the ones I've got and I don't have, sort of thing. So, yeah, once we got to the till, then obviously it was on Blu-ray for $4.99. So Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1. I'm not sure if the newest one is Part 2 or whether there is still another one to get. I think Ollie said this is the last one I needed and the most recent, 2023. I'm guessing the new one, that's at the cinema. That looked really good and sort of quite dark when we seen the trailer when we was watching Sinners in Birmingham at the IMAX. Is second sort of half to this. I'm guessing it's part 2. I'm not really sure on the title. Yeah, I do get these mixed up. So lucky Ollie had sort of pointed that one out. And then yeah, the last one from HMV. So not a massive HMV haul compared to sometimes. I think I spent about £50 in there. Obviously some of them were quite cheap. You got 2 for 15. Mission Impossible was a £5. £10 on that Superhost, Dry White Season 8. So yeah, all quite good bargains. So I sometimes begrudge paying like 18 for one of the Criterions, but being as I saved quite a lot, I thought it's not too bad. And yeah, this is the other one that's kind of doing the rounds. It's 12 Angry Men. I think you can get it on a sort of, was it the Warner Archive, which is in the 2 for 15, which would have worked out a lot cheaper. But yeah, when me and Ollie looked, they just didn't seem to have it on the shelves in the Bath. Might have had it in Bristol, but I'm not planning on going back there for a little while. But yeah, $17.99, so quite expensive. But yeah, again, I think Roy was the first one speaking about this. I think now Roy, maybe Sammy, maybe Ash. I think there's quite a few. We was on about doing like a watch along of it. But yes, from 1957, PG, directed by Sidney Lumet, starring Henry Fonda. See if I can find any of the other names. Lee J. Cobb, Ed Begley, E.G. Marshall, Henry Fonda, Jack Klugman, Edward Binns, Joseph Sweeney, George Voskovec, Robert Webber. Gonna say it, quite a stacked cast, but I guess it's got 12 people in it. Yeah, not really heard too much about this, but yeah, everyone I know has said it's a really good film, and then they were on about doing a watch along, and I think Ollie and Sammy said, I could join the watch along. I was like, well, I don't actually own it. They thought I did, so I said, should I? And then Roy said, yeah, buy it, it's a good one. Yeah, it's black and white from 1957, but yeah, I don't know too much about it other than it's been sort of critically acclaimed in general, but yeah, all the people in the Movie Loons group have all been buying it and singing its praises, so happy to check that one out, and another one for the Criterion collection. I'm happy I got it on Criterion, but yeah, I would have sort of paid the half price if they did have it on that version. Here's the one, some of the ones I swapped with Ollie. So some I don't really know too much about, but yeah, I'm guessing the ones that aren't worth that much value. So obviously, if I've got ones that are worth quite a lot, then I do trade them in at CEX. If I look and CEX are going to give me like £1 or 10p or so, then I'd rather pass it on. So yeah, I had a pile that I showed to Ollie of ones he wanted. A few I'd sort of picked up for him in the Kingswood CEX when I went, because he doesn't sort of go to that one too often. Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but it looks interesting. It's Transcendence. Not the biggest fan of Johnny Depp. Don't dislike him as an actor, but it's not too many films I love with him in. But yeah, directed by Wally Feister. Starring Morgan Freeman, obviously a great actor, a great voice. Rebecca Hall, really like her. I think she's in Life. I watched the one with her recently, actually. I can't remember, but yeah, is it? What's that horror film? Beginning with A. Let me quickly check. The Awakening. Yeah, Rebecca Hall. Not only like her as an actress, but like looking at her, she's good looking. Kate Mara, Cillian Murphy, and Paul Bettany. So yeah, quite a stacked cast. But yeah, I guess it's a sci-fi film. Again, don't know too much about it, but obviously we'll get round to it. Didn't know this one when Ollie sort of sent the photo. This was sort of sideways on that, and it's not so much I thought it was a foreign film. I thought it was a English language release that had just, it's probably a German edition, but yeah, called Return to Paradise with Vince Vaughn, Anne Heck, and Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, I don't know too much about this, but it looks interesting. But sometimes there's the kind of ones, I think that's the same artwork. Sometimes there's the kind of ones I won't always pick up and buy, even if they're a few pounds, just because, there's so much films to pick up. But when it's one I can sort of get for free and swap with somebody, then yeah, good to give it a chance. This one, it is based on a book by Cormac McCarthy. I have seen it. It was either on TV or I thought I did have it on DVD years ago, but I can't find the DVD here. Obviously, sometimes I'll lend DVDs to like friends or something, and you should never get them back. Sometimes you don't see them again, or they just don't bring it back for years, and then you can't be bothered asking anymore. If it's not worth much, then you rebuy it. But yeah, I remember it being really depressing. Can't remember too much about it, but The Road, I think, is one. Ollie, I think, rated it as a film, but I think he did say he would sort of watch it again because it's quite, I don't know if it's disturbing. I think it's more depressing and just harrowing, kind of apocalyptic kind of film. But yeah, big fan of Viggo Mortensen, directed by John Hillcoat. Not sure I know much else by him. This is a series I've never seen any of, the Purge series, so I will have to pick up. I'm guessing this is like a prequel. I think the original was just called The Purge. Heard good things about him from most people. Directed by Gerard McMurray. Again, don't know if I know the name. Yeah, not sure which are the best of the Purge films, but yeah, I thought obviously swapping it for free, I'll give it a try. I guess I probably have to, watch I say the first Purge, this is the first Purge, but the original Purge film, see what that's like. I think there's quite a few of these Purges and maybe spin-offs, but yeah, I guess I'll try and get them all at one point. This is one I did own years ago. Did watch it. It wasn't a great film. I mean, I do like Christina Ricci and Shannon Elizabeth. I think she was in American Pie and 13 Ghosts. I think it's also got a young Jesse Eisenberg in one of his first roles. Directed by Wes Craven, so I am trying to get all the Wes Craven films. Yeah, I can't remember it being great. It's not one of the better werewolf films I've seen, but it seems to be quite hard to get nowadays. So I had this, I wouldn't say this exact version, this same edition, probably like 20 years ago. And again, I can't remember whether I lent it to somebody. I wouldn't say it got stolen, because I didn't really have friends come around that are untrustworthy that would steal my films. But yeah, it's just one that just don't have in the collection. I never traded in or anything. Yeah, I didn't love it at the time, but I definitely know I didn't trade it in. Also starring Joshua Jackson. Yeah, it's a werewolf film. Like I say, I don't think it's a great one, but it'd be nice to check it out again, but also to have it in the collection, not just as another sort of rarer kind of horror you don't see around, but yeah, like I say, trying to get all the Wes Craven films, rewatch it and make up my mind, because not only do tastes change over time, but also, yeah, some films I liked years ago, I watch them now and I think, oh, how did I like that? Or vice versa. Ones that I used to love, I watch now and think it's kind of boring. Going to change the case on this because the case isn't in great condition, but I think Artificial Eye, most of them are good releases. Don't buy DVDs too much, especially from CEX. The price for this on Blu-ray was the same at £5, but when I looked on CEX, it's not an out of print Blu-ray, or it doesn't say out of stock, but it was only available, well, 3 copies, one in 3 different stores throughout the whole of the UK CEX. So Atom, I guess you say Atom Egoyan, The Sweet Hereafter. So I have got a film by Atom Egoyan called Felicias Journey. I think it's one Stuart picked up recently. Yeah, I watched this when I was about 15, maybe a bit older. Watched it a few times. When I watched it again recently, not only I really enjoyed it, Bob Hoskins, really creepy. Quite a subtle role, but some of the faces he makes quite scary. And then, yeah, when I was younger, when I first watched this, had like a massive crush on, what's she called? Elaine Cassidy, who was also in The Others. And yeah, really enjoyed this. So I wasn't really sure what other films Atom Egoyan had done, but when I was looking on the website and I seen this one, The Sweet Hereafter, yeah, don't know too much about it, but sure it's going to be good. And it's got Ian Holm in it from Alien. Obviously, he's in a lot of other things. I think he plays Bilbo Baggins in the Hobbit films. But yeah, big fan of him. Who's this girl in it? It's also starring Maury Chapkin, Peter Donaldson, Bruce Greenwood, David Hemblum, Brooke Johnson, Arsene Kanjan, Tom McManus, Stephanie Morgenstern, Earl Pascoe, Sarah Polly, Gabrielle Rose, Alberta Watson. So a big cast, but yeah, I don't know who that girl is there, but she looks familiar. I think I've seen her in something. It's a 15. Can I find a running time? 109 minutes. It's a Canadian film. I thought it was going to be sort of British or Irish, like Felicia's Journey is. But yeah, it's quite an out-of-print one, so I was quite happy to find that. This one, again, quite rare. I mean, this doesn't have a Blu-ray release. I did actually check, but Idle Hands. I think this was around the same time, you know, the Final Destination films, the Faculty, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, Urban Legend, all those kind of early 2000s sort of teen horrors. Yeah, I've seen this once and remember enjoying it and thinking it was funny. It's like a dark comedy. Haven't seen it, yeah, literally like 20 years or more, so it might not stand up nowadays. But yeah, one I've had on my list to get for a long time to never see around. So I did check once I seen this in the Bath CEX on DVD for £6. I did go on there, and yeah, it just doesn't seem to have a Blu-ray or 4K release. Maybe it will get one. But yeah, I remember enjoying it. I don't think it's the best film, but remember it being a fun kind of one, yeah, from 1999, 18. It won't say sort of too much what happens in it, or it'll probably spoil it, but yeah, I remember finding this, oh, sorry, the camera's zooming in and out, quite a fun one, directed by Roman Flender. I'm not sure if I've seen anything else by him, but yeah, £6, quite a lot for a second-hand DVD, but like I say, it's just one I just don't see around anymore. This one comes in a nice slipcase, Night of the Demons 2. So Night of the Demons 1 I really enjoy, a classic horror from the early night. I think it was late 80s, like 89 or so. Night of the Demons 3, I think it was also called Demon House. Yeah, it's a low budget film, but I quite enjoy it. But yeah, never seen Night of the Demons 2, so I thought for £8 with a nice slipcase on 88 films, which I do collect. Happy to pick that out. I'm imagining it's not going to be great. Directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. It's an 18, 96 minutes. Yeah, I don't know too much, but it seems the kind of one that even if I don't love it, I could probably move it on or sell it for not much less than I've paid for it. Sticking with the horror theme. This is one I did have years ago on DVD. I think I traded it in. It's not that I didn't like the film, but I think at the time there was a few titles were going for sort of crazy money when they're out of print. So if I've got a film, even if I quite like it, and they're offering like, I don't know, say 20 in CEX on it, I'm not going to watch it for a while, then I would trade it in. Yeah, I think I just had the standard version rather than the Shameless, but New York Ripper, Lucio Fulci, yeah, one of his nastiest, most depraved films. There's a guy that keeps on sort of ringing up and making duck noises, and yeah, some really intense bits. I don't think it was a video nasty, but it feels like one. It's an 18, contains strong bloody violence and strong sex. Yeah, I'd say it's probably, out of the Fulci films I've seen, even like the Beyond and Zombie Flesh Eaters, which are quite extreme, this is probably the most, not just goriest, but where in some of those ones it's zombies and kind of like gates of hell sort of demons doing it. The fact that it's a serial killer man maybe makes it a bit more believable. But yeah, there's a nasty sort of scene with a razor blade to an eye. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I thought for £8 for a shameless one. But yeah, I say trying to get all of the Lucio Fulci ones. I don't know if they're all easy to get. I did see one in HMV the other day on standard Blu-ray had just been released. Might be through 88 Films. It's £20. It had the original title I didn't know, but they had like the sort of what's the word? Other title, shall I just say? Can't remember what it was called. Let me know in the comments if you know the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think it's just come out, just got a release. But yeah, I do remember this being a messed up one, so happy to get that one for £8 to add into the Lucio Fulci collection. This one, not only quite good value, it's like a double disc set, but yeah, Night of the Living Dead, one I don't actually have. I haven't upgraded. I've just basically got it on the standard DVD. Obviously, I've upgraded the Blu-ray. Well, yeah, the Blu-ray of Dawn of the Dead on this nice big second sight limited edition box. Now I've got Day of the Dead on Arrow Blu-ray. So yeah, I thought about time I got the Night of the Living Dead upgrade. But rather than getting the standard edition, yeah, I thought this is good value for £10 in really good condition. Comes in a little sort of box. You've got Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white version. And then Birth of the Living Dead, a documentary. But yeah, I've heard this is quite an interesting documentary. Obviously, you can get the Tom Savini remake of Night of the Living Dead, which is in colour, which I did enjoy, but I haven't seen it since I was a kid to say if it's... I wouldn't imagine it's better than the original. Not a more seminal, important film, but maybe more sort of fun. Yeah, 93 minutes for the main film and then 73 minutes for a little documentary. So yeah, good way of getting the documentary. And now I finally got all three of George A. Romero's Dead trilogy on Blu-rays. This one, again, heard it's quite a bad film. One of Wes Craven's most sort of critically, what should I say, negatively reviewed. But yeah, I'm trying to get all the Wes Craven films. Obviously, it's an Arrow one. It's quite dear for £12, but it is well out of print. It's Deadly Blessing. So yeah, I don't really know too much about this. Remember seeing it around in the video shops and that when I was a kid. It's one I never got to. Starring Maren Jensen, Susan Buckner, Sharon Stone, Jeff East, Lisa Hartman, Lois Nettleton, and Ernest Borgnine. So quite a good cast. Yeah, I think there was an alternative. The cover in here just shows this like woman in bed, but I swear I've seen it around even in the VHS, either in the VHS stores or on DVD more recently, years ago when I was sort of picking up films in FOP and stuff, and it had like kind of looked a bit like a leprechaun kind of guy on the front. Yeah, like I say, I heard it's not one of Wes Craven's best, but it's out of print, and if I'm going to get all the Wes Craven films, then you've kind of got to bite the bullet and get one or two that ain't great ones. This one is an upgrade, so one I've got on DVD. Really enjoy the DVD. I thought £4 was quite a good value to upgrade it on Blu-ray. Oh, there's a bit of glare, but it's lights out. So yeah, only watched this once. Got it on DVD when it first came out. Really enjoyed this by David F. Sandberg. That's done some other good films. Only 81 minutes, so quite a fast one. But yeah, I remember it being a creepy one. So yeah, I'll be moving the DVD of that one on now. I've upgraded it. This isn't actually an upgrade one I don't own, but I have watched it loads of times. I did say to Ollie when I bought it, I was like, it's not a great film. In fact, it's not very well made, but not only have I got some nostalgia attached to it, because I used to watch it with my mates years ago, but I am trying to get all the Stallone films. It's Cliffhanger. So I think, I did say a while ago that obviously since they've released Demolition Man on Arrow, and then they've released, I think, 2 or 3 recently of like Deep Blue Sea and The Long Kiss Goodnight. Rennie Harlin directed films. Yeah, pretty sure this is a Rennie Harlin. I can't actually see his name on it. Be under the sticker, but yeah, so maybe someone's traded this in because I have heard there's going to be an upgrade on 4K, but it's not the best film, so I don't know if I'd ever bother getting like a big Arrow special set for 30 quid if they do one. Yeah, one I've always enjoyed, but yeah, like I say, it's a bit of a cheesy, silly film, but got a good cast. Got John Lithgow, got what's he called from Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, Michael Rooker, obviously Stallone. Yeah, I've always found it a fun one. I like films sort of set in the snow and things. So yeah, for £4, thought that was quite good value on Cliffhanger. This is kind of like a special edition book. I'm not sure if anyone's ever seen 9. It's kind of like an animated quite dark, a bit like Coraline. I don't know if you can see it on the back there. Yeah, I only had this on DVD. Don't really see the Blu-ray around, or I think when I did, maybe the Blu-ray was about 8. So I thought for this sort of book, yeah, so it's got the Blu-ray disc. I won't sort of show you all the pages, or this will go on too long, but that little side of the slip's quite battered, but I'll probably be putting it front on up on one of these shelves. But yeah, it's more just to watch it on. Oh, actually, it's fine. That side where I show is good condition. But yeah, one I don't really see around. And yeah, I really did enjoy this. I've only seen it once. Directed by Shane Acker. But yeah, quite sort of dark and creepy. It is a 12, contains moderate sustained threat. 1 hour 20 minutes, so not too long. Peel that a little bit off the back. But yeah, I haven't watched this in about 10 years, so looking forward to watching that one again. But yeah, if you're into your darker animated films in the style of Coraline, then yeah, I would recommend 9. Obviously, I'm going to be moving the DVD on. Don't think it's worth much, so anybody that is interested in the DVD of 9 that are into the sort of darker animated films, let me know, and I might send it to you. These are the DVD pickups. So I think Ollie bought 2 in Dorothy House, a sticker saying it was free for £1. So once he got to the till, they said, do you want another one? So Ollie let me have one. I was looking through them. One I think I did see at a cinema years ago. I watched it around one of my friend's house. Not seen it in a long time. And one I've never owned, Gran Torino, Clint Eastwood film. Was kind of waiting to get this on Blu-ray. But yeah, obviously once Ollie said if you grab it, you can have it for free. Thought it's one worth owning now. So yeah, Gran Torino, Mystic River, and I'm having a mental block. What's the one where she's a female boxer? Those are probably the 3 sort of best of the more recent directed ones. Yeah, this one I haven't really heard of with Jim Carrey, but once I seen it, Ollie said it's a really good film. To get it is The Majestic with Jim Carrey, directed by Michael Sloan. 146 minutes, so quite a long one at over 2 hours. Probably Jim Carrey's longest film. Can I see a year? 2001. So yeah, a while after he was obviously doing like The Mask and Ace Ventura and those kind of comedies. But yeah, these charity shop ones, I think I paid like 50p for each of these. This one I don't know too much about, but all he said is good and he thinks I'd like it, is The Chorus. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's called The Chorus. It's a French film with subtitles. Obviously, I'm into my world cinema. So yeah, a bit of a blind buy, but a recommendation. I thought for 49p, it's one you don't really see around, so nice to have in the collection. This one I've been looking for a little while. Don't know if you can get it on Blu-ray, however, it's quite rare to find. But I did say to Ollie, I think when we got into this shop, I was like, oh, I'm just looking for The Girl Next Door, and as soon as I said it, I found it on the shelf. Yeah, I know it's one Ash from Popcorn and Horror spoke about. One I've seen on the TV when I was a kid, and sort of starts a certain way. I won't spoil it, but yeah, a lot of people say it's the kind of one that wouldn't be made nowadays. I always thought it had Mandy Moore in it for some reason. She used to be like a pop singer, did a few films, and yeah, really had a big crush on her when I was younger. But it's Alicia Cuthbert, directed by Luke Greenfield. But yeah, I do remember finding this funny. But yeah, when it came on the TV, I watched it and really enjoyed it, and I've never seen it again since. And that must have been, yeah, when I was like 17 or so. There is another film called The Girl Next Door, based on a Jack Ketchum, very disturbing film, so not to be confused with that. This one I watched on streaming years ago, just it wasn't available. Really enjoyed it. It's Neil Gaiman film. Story by Neil Gaiman, but directed by Dave McKean. A lot of people do say it's like a unofficial sequel to Labyrinth, or at least in inspired by, is Mirror Mask. So yeah, it's quite a twisted, weird, bizarre film. It's a live action, but it does have quite a lot of like animation, weird characters. But yeah, it starts with this girl in the circus, sort of performing with her family, and then something happens. And yeah, it's basically a fantasy where she goes on an adventure. But yeah, quite a dark fantasy, kind of like Coraline or 9 that I just showed style sort of story. But yeah, I do like things by Neil Gaiman, and yeah, I watched a video recently on YouTube where someone was saying it's kind of an unofficial sequel to Labyrinth. And then this one I don't know too much about, but yeah, I think it forgot to mention, so I think The Girl Next Door and maybe The Majestic were in free for £1, so I was going to grab another one. Looked at one Roy has spoken about, I can't remember the name of it now. I think Jodie showed, was going to grab that, and then I think Ollie said that's one that you see quite often, so you're better off to get this, which is maybe a bit of a rarer one to find. But yeah, it's a war film, a bit more recent, of 2018, Ashes in the Snow. Belle Powley, Martin Wallstrom, Jonah Howard King, James Cosmo, and Lisa Loven. A bit like Lisa Loves. Siberia 1941. Kind of looks a bit like Come and See, which, yeah, it's the most disturbing, messed up war film I've ever seen. It's a world cinema film. I did used to have it a bit like Roy said the same story. I think when we was in Birmingham, we seen it there on DVD for 15. I did have a DVD, did watch it. It wasn't the kind of one I was like, I'd never watch it again. But yeah, like I say with that other one I traded in, yeah, I think at the time it was really out of print. It's maybe come a bit more cheaper since. But yeah, I think they offered me like 20, 30 or so on Music Magpie. I don't trade in many films. Touch wood, I haven't really got to the point where I need money and I'm like, better sell half of my collection. But yeah, I think at the time I was sort of trying to narrow down the collection. I was looking like, would I watch these ones again? Then, you know, if it was trading in for £1, I would have kept it. But once I seen the price of it. But yeah, it does kind of look like that, quite dark and serious. It is only a 15, so maybe it's not as brutal. But yeah, not really heard of that, so let me know if you know it. So yeah, that's all the pickups from today. So obviously ones I swapped with Ollie were free. Ones in CEX were quite good value. I think I spent about £45. Charity shop ones, yeah, probably came to a few pound. CEX only spent about, HMV only spent about 50, so quite good for me. Trying not to spend too much more this month, because obviously I did a haul the other day. But yeah, I've not gone too wild compared to some months, so might not have another haul for a while. But as I end this, I'm literally now about to record my recent watches. I think I've got about 10 or so I've watched since the last one, so yeah, I might upload them both on the same day, but that'll be the next one. So yeah, that's everything I've picked up, and then obviously Ollie's going to be doing his upload of all the stuff he got when we were together, and without sort of spoiling his thing, I think he's got more than 50 titles, so it might be longer than Sammy G's record hour-and-a-half long video. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Like and comment, subscribe. I always forget to say that kind of thing. More so comment, because I'd like to get in the conversation, or tell me your opinions on these films if you have or haven't seen them. Right, thank you for watching, everybody. Bye.